about it. Either way, it's a win-win. You either figure out whether or not the guy's got any kind of gravitas and soul, or you figure out that he's exactly who you thought he was, and now you don't have to wonder. But staying away doesn't solve anything. It's a mock protest. And so there are these guys that are sitting there, and Rob Parker, oh, you got to stay away, and he's this, and he's that, and he's this, and he's that. And I'd like Rob Parker to meet Trump face to face. I'd like Trump to invite him to the White House. I wonder if Rob Parker would stay away out of protest. Or I wonder if Rob Parker would actually go there and come away and say, I was wrong. My advocacy was wrong. You see, most people don't want to do that. Most people don't want to admit they were wrong. It takes a big person, especially if you're in the media, and especially if you're in a politically charged situation. And you double down, and you double down, and you double down. Man, listen to Alex Jones at night sometimes. Not often. I was watching him during the election. And God, he was the biggest helium pump for Trump on the planet. And now he's got to continue to sell certain aspects of Trump, like the wiretapping and whatever. It's part of his. I think it's part of his contract. I don't know, but it's probably part of his contract. But some of it's kind of embarrassing. Like I thought that there were things that were interesting about Trump. I liked the fact that he wasn't going to sign the TPP. Yes. Guess what else he did? He basically just tore up the climate agreement with Paris. And you know what he's doing? He's investing some of the money that was going to go into that. He's sending $100 million to Michigan to take care of the water in Flint. That's right. That is on the public record. And we have to track that. But if that's the case, that is a real solution. I am not a big climate change guy. I watch the climate change every day due to chemtrails. You want to get to climate change? You want to alter climate change? Stop spraying the sky. Real simple. Shut down the chemtrails, and guess what? Let's see what happens. What a novel thought. So he pulled out of the Paris Accord, and he's putting $100 million into Flint for the water. Did Obama do that? I didn't notice what he did around. I think he went there, and I think he took a sip of the water. Boy, they must have put a gun to his head for that. But he didn't do a damn thing. So I thought there were some interesting things about him. It's certainly a disruptor. And he's been everything. He's been everything disruptive and then some. And there are things I don't agree with. I don't agree with the travel ban. I think it's stupid. Especially because the Saudi Arabians are left out of the travel ban. And if people want to come here, they can come here. That was weirdly cosmetic. I don't know who told them to do it. It was a bad move. And you've got all these little activist judges that are just going to want to get in the way and say, ha, 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 look what I did. I stopped this. I put an end to it. So he left himself open to that. Stupid travel ban. Dumb. There's other ways he could have gone about doing it. And there are, again, thousands of people that are coming across the border or being flown in on those UPS flights, and they get here. So there's a lot of there's things I don't agree with. I don't agree with the war effort. I don't agree with the buildup in Syria. I don't agree with sort of the demonization of Russia and Ukraine and Crimea. It's all a game. It's all part of the theater, the shadow play of the military-industrial complex. Our best friend in the Middle East, all that stuff. But he's doing some interesting things too. The healthcare thing, It's a train wreck. Obamacare was a train wreck, and now they're going to double train wreck this thing. God, it was. I don't know. There's got to be a better solution, and they're not finding it. See, I can be critical. But being able to say that you're wrong in public, boy, that's big. That's big. Because, we build our brand based on our faith and our convictions. And if those are weak, flimsy, in doubt, then who are we? What do we stand for? Theoretically. But in astrology, there are elements. There's mutability. There's fixed energy. There's cardinal energy. And it's these elements or these modalities that allow us to move around the chart and move around our lives, to be flexible, to rethink our position, to dig in when we need to initiate and make something happen when it's the right time. That's the beauty about astrology and the beauty about life. Speaking of astrology, I'm working on a big piece on Rockefeller and Baron Trump. I was looking at Baron Trump's chart again. We talked about this on Sunday night show. By the way, you're listening to the Friday FARcast. I'm Robert Phoenix, and if you're still here with me, I appreciate that. Because we took a little side road through sports and politics and hopefully brought it all together. By the way, my latest show on Gaia with Regina Meredith is up and available for viewing. People say they like it. They like the content. So I think that's good. I think it's good. That's always good. I'll be honest with you. It's rare when I watch those shows. It's rare when I go back and listen to my radio. Once it's done, it's done. I tend to just sort of move on. That's the way that goes. But I was looking at Baron Trump's chart. God, it's a fascinating chart. Really fascinating. Let me see if I can pull it up here. So we talked about this on Sunday night on the live stream, which I will be doing this Sunday at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Central Time. So Baron Trump is a double Pisces, 29 degrees Pisces. And remember, David Rockefeller died on Baron Trump's birthday. I think this is significant. And David Rockefeller was 101 years old. Again, very significant in its own right from a symbolic perspective. Died 33 days, the magical 33 days before the Queen's birthday. Can you imagine a planet without the Queen, without Henry Kissinger? My God. What's that going to feel like? And then a planet without George Bush. Wow. That'd be amazing. Incredible. So Baron Trump is a Sun in Pisces, Pisces rising, 29 degrees Pisces. He's got Uranus, Mercury on his ascendant. It's very unusual. That Uranus-Mercury conjunction, the unusual mind. This kid does not process information in the same way that the rest of us do. Now, he may be a victim of Asperger's or some form of autism. That's quite possible with the Uranus-Mercury conjunction on the ascendant. But they're also trine Jupiter. Now, you get into Uranus-Jupiter trines, they're kind of an aspect of genius. He's got that, plus he's got Jupiter trine to Mercury. I mean, he might have one of these IQs that are just like off the charts. Or he could be sort of savant-like. Like he might have like really interesting gifts in certain areas. And in other areas, maybe a complete innocent. But I can also tell you that it's very hard for him to concentrate, even though Jupiter is in Scorpio and it's water and it's in the 8th house, and he's got Uranus and Mercury in Pisces, both water. He also has a Mars in Gemini square to Mercury Uranus. It's hard. Mars in Gemini is quite restless, and it squares his Uranus Mercury, which means he's got a restless mind. It's always moving, 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 moving. But it's a fascinating chart. Absolutely fascinating. And I began to look at the chart, and it almost feels like, to me, like he's kind of this next model human in some ways. I know it sounds corny, but this Uranus-Mercury conjunction feels telepathic and even perhaps telekinetic. Very interesting. He's got this Venus-Neptune conjunction in Aquarius, and I was making a comparison with Rockefeller's chart because Rockefeller has Uranus in a true node in Aquarius. So Rockefeller's life path was to create the Aquarian age. It's in his chart. You can see it. That was his kind of mission in life. And of course, we know some of the things that he did towards that end, which were not great. He foisted feminism. He and his family foisted feminism upon the world. We know this because Nicholas Rockefeller said that that's what they did to Aaron Russo before Aaron Russo died in his movie From Freedom to Fascism, or From Freedom to Fascism. And that's what he did. So the Rockefellers had their hand in that and many, 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 many other things with the objective to bring us into a new world order. And that's what David Rockefeller even said in his memoirs. He said, if this is what I am doing, I am unapologetic. Unapologetic. And with his Sun-Moon conjunction in Gemini, trining Uranus in the true node in Aquarius, that was the mission. The Rockefellers also created the Lucis Trust. And the Lucis Trust is, of course, the publishing arm of Alice Bailey. That's a Rockefeller company, the Lucis Trust. Now, at one point, I think they called the company Lucifer's Trust. I think that's what the name of the company was, and then it became the Lucis Trust. And by the way, some of the stuff that Alice Bailey talks about or channels in those books, some of it's actually kind of brilliant. I mean, there are some concepts in there that are actually quite fascinating. I'm just being honest. I've read some of them. I don't know any of them, but I've read some. But that was their manual. And they continue to print the books, and the Lucis Trust continues to be in business to this day. They probably lose money every year, but it's a Rockefeller Foundation publishing company in front. So Baron Trump, he also has this connection with the Aquarian age, with the Venus-Neptune conjunction in Aquarius. It's in his 12th house. So what's going on behind the scenes? What are they prepping him for? That's what I want to know. What are they prepping him for? His Saturn is not far off of his father's Pluto. He's got Saturn at 4 Leo, and his father's Pluto is at 10 Leo. So there's a Saturn-Pluto conjunction there between the two of them. Interesting. Very interesting. From a past life perspective, Baron Trump might have been his father. I wonder if this is Fred Trump reincarnated. I'd have to look at Fred Trump's chart. This is fascinating. It's a fascinating chart. He's got his true node in Aries at 4 degrees. So if we did a draconic chart for Baron Trump, it would be the same chart. So he'd be living out his soul chart through this incarnational or natal chart. Look at that Pluto at the top. That Pluto conjunct the midheaven. Pluto's changing the world, right? Transforming the world. In Sagittarius, square the sun. Pluto-Sun square. It's like to me, that's